content. So while I work for, Wilmington University, I feel like I get to work with all the different departments and meet all their goals and needs in terms of video, which is really fun. I have been doing that for about almost 4 years at this point, but I have about 6 years of experience producing video for various clients. So before this, I was just an intern, so I was still an undergrad, but I interned for an insurance company doing corporate video with them. And then I've also worked with WHYY as an intern, and I actually have a bunch of packages up on WHYY's website now. I've also worked with, this past year, the Take Back the Night Foundation, like Kelsey said, Brand Swan, and I recently also helped be a consultant for the Earth Law Center. So I really like being able to help people achieve their goals with video. And I also wanted to go a little bit into my background because I feel like I am especially good with like educational and corporate video, which is a little bit different than, flashy graphics or commercial shoots or even social media. Like there's so many types of video and they're all very different, and it's such a wide range that people can actually become kind of specialized in like one niche. And so I would say mine is educational video. I feel like a lot of my clients lean towards, they want packages or interviews or educational content, so I feel like that's my specialty. So I'm going to try and make this a broad, wide-reaching presentation for all types of people looking to start video. And I know that Brand Swan works with a bunch of small businesses, so I assume that the kind of content you are looking to create would be more social media focused, maybe like YouTube videos or even Reels or TikToks, things like that. So I'm going to try and stay general, but if I lean a little bit too much in one direction, just know that that's kind of where my background's at and that's where my skill level is. So that's why I wanted to kind of say that and explain where I've been and what I've done. I also have my Bachelor of Arts in Creative Writing and Communications from Wilmington University, and I also have my Master's in Science in Management from Wilmington University. I got it as I worked there. So I want to start by giving a little anecdote. So in COVID, this was a few weeks ago. This was actually after I agreed to make this presentation. I got really into Delish content on YouTube, which I don't know if you know, but there's a bunch of different sort of channels where people, go around and try different foods. And there's one that she like goes to different theme parks and eats sort of around the theme park. And they're really cute and high quality. And she has a video editor that works with her, or a videographer that follows her around. And you can see in the first picture there, she's like smiling, living her best life, looking gorgeous. And then down below, they, I guess, needed to finish their series, and it happened in the middle of COVID. So she is in her house, probably using her webcam or phone, propping it up, having a panic attack on camera, trying to make this content happen, not being a videographer, not being a video editor, just being the on-camera personality. And she can do it, so anyone can do it, is why I bring this up, because it was very funny to sort of watch her struggle. And I, as a video editor, actually felt that this year, where like a lot of what I've been doing this past year is trying to navigate people through the video making process on their end. Since everything is like virtual or remote, I like have to work with people and be like, okay, this is how you like frame your webcam. Like if you're going to use your phone, do this. And it's been like a totally different experience being on that end, not being able to be like a full producer who just comes in with my equipment and sets up the shot and kind of does everything from start to finish. So I also wanted to bring this up, and you'll see I have over here NFL/MBA. So another thing I was thinking when I was like sort of formulating this presentation is I was thinking a lot about how the NFL specifically is like the most highest production value content out there. Like they always have the best cameras, they have the newest equipment, they were the first to use 4K. I don't actually know if that's true, don't quote me on that, but like they were there, they have, it's so like the millions of dollars are spent on NFL content. And then this past year, because of COVID, suddenly on our televisions at home, we're seeing people's grainy webcam footage. And it's such a different experience all of a sudden that this is the kind of content that we are ingesting once again. Like, it feels like we've been bumped back a bunch because we're no longer getting that like high quality, perfect production value content anymore. So this is all to say that the barrier to entry now is like on the floor. Like, this is all to say that yes, you can. I think that, you know, we always think that video is something that's like too much or unattainable, or we just, you know, there are too many barriers and we can't do it, or we don't know enough of the skills. But I definitely think that this past year has actually made video more accessible than ever. Similarly, I think a lot about how, so I am a millennial, I am on Instagram, I'm not on TikTok, but I know a lot of people repost their TikToks onto Instagram. And one thing I've noticed is that Instagram's algorithm is super lenient towards video right now. So again, if you are a brand owner and you want to gain exposure, video is the way. So I think that video is more important than ever if you want to elevate your brand. And reels are only like 30 seconds long. TikToks, I'm not sure of the time limit, but it can't be that long. And then I think Instagram has like Instagram TV, which is like longer content. But either way, like if you have a phone, you can be making video content. So that's why I was really inspired when I was talking to Jen about making this presentation to like remind people that it's totally within your wheelhouse and you can do it. So the first thing that we need to talk about is research. I think that the most important thing is you have to research. You have to be consuming the kind of content you want to create. That is like the most important thing you can do is watch the content you want to create, be on the platform that it's on. So if you do want to get into like Reels and TikTok, you should be on those platforms now. You should be consuming content. If you want to make more long form content or maybe high touch packages or something like that, you know, be on YouTube, watch what people are doing to figure out what you need to do. Follow brands that are similar to you that have video. So if you are a bakery, you know, what are other bakers doing? What kind of content are they making? Think about that content critically. You just because that's what they're doing doesn't mean that's what you have to do, but it is good to know what people are doing. I also always, and this is just a me thing, but I'll let you know, I read the comments. I can get lost in comments sometimes, but I actually find them very useful, like especially YouTube comments or something like that, because I can just scroll through and see what people are saying. And maybe I watched that video and thought, wow, this was really good, but I think this moment they could have tweaked or made it a little bit better. And then if I'm reading the comments and people are agreeing with me, that's something that I can take away. And I know that if I were to do something like that, that's what I would change. It's validating to see that people, you know, agree that, oh yeah, I liked this graphic that they used here, but maybe their transition here was a little bit weird or, you know, whatever. And that's just sort of like a, um, that's just an example, but you could even like read comments and people be like, wow, this is great. You know, how'd you do this? And then things like that. And then people answer their own questions in their comments. So you can sometimes learn something. I would say don't spend that much time because it's a wormhole, but you can find value in that. I also have on here what content is being created on the platform. So again, I kind of mentioned like Instagram versus TikTok versus YouTube versus like Facebook videos are even different. So that's also something you need to think about is like, what is the other content on that platform looking like and how can you kind of fit into their algorithm as well? So there are so many pieces of this, but I really think that like following brands that are doing similar things is a great place to start. And if you're following your brands and none of them are making the kind of content that you want to create, then also follow that type of content. So then here I have on this slide, Tech 215 is a colleague of mine who works at Wilmington University, and this is his like hobby on the side. He is a great computer builder person. He like basically takes computers and like remakes them, and he's super good at it. And he started his own YouTube channel. And so when he first came on at Wilmington University, we became good friends. And he came to me, and this was before his YouTube channel was started. He was like, I see this content and I do that. He's like, I make computer builds and I watch these videos and I think I could do that. And he did the research. Like he did more research than anyone I've ever seen. I mean, I guess I like went to college for it, so maybe like that was my research. But he would start sending me all these videos and he's like, see, this guy did this here. I really like how he did that. How do I make this graphic? Or see this transition or see this lighting kit, like, and I mean, he did the research like nobody else. And then he would send us his videos. So he talked to me and then my other colleagues who do video at Wilmington University, and he would come to us and say, what do you think of my new video? What could I improve? Like he was very serious about it. And his channel is doing awesome. Like he has so many subscribers. He hasn't been that doing this that long, but already his content has like skyrocketed in improvement. Like his first video, I was like, wow, that's cool. But now I'm like, wow, like this is crazy awesome. Like his stuff is really good. So it's a little bit of a shout out to him if you're into that kind of content, but also just in general, I think that he has really done his research and it has paid off tremendously for him. Like he's probably better at graphics than I am at this point now, because he just really put in the time to really make that his thing, his hobby. And so that's kind of the extreme end, like if you want this to be like your thing. But if you're just a business owner looking to add video in, then just casually consume content, but make sure that it's content that you would like to create, that you want to emulate. I think that's really important. So then once you have done that research, then you need to start making some decisions. So if you're already a small business owner or you already have a brand, that's really great. So you can check that off the list. You know, you have your colors, you have your fonts. That is like the best place to start, is when you already kind of have your graphics kit. So one thing that, since I work with some outside clients sometimes, well, Wilmington University, obviously I have their brand kit, but when I work with outside clients, the first thing I ask is like, send me your fonts, send me your colors, because that's really the most important thing. The video content itself is going to be what it is based on the stuff that I get sent, but the brand colors and the brand fonts are the most important things for the brand. So that's always a great place to start. Goal and audience. So it sounds really simple, but it's always really important to remember. And I think I have it on a later slide, but I'll say it now too, since we're talking about it. When people tell me what they want to do with their video, I always have to like write that down and say, okay, this is the goal, and I'm never going to stray from this goal. Because so here I am going to talk about my experience. Like I said, I do a lot of packages. So you know, I think about who they want their audience to be. So is it an internal audience? Is it an external audience? Do they want new people to learn about their brand? Do they want their customers to know about them, or something, some aspect of something that they offer? Things like that. Like all these like really important targeted questions. So then if I'm writing interview questions, I keep those in mind, because that will be my end goal, is like, what kind of answers do I want them to say, or what kind of things do I want them to say? I need to think about what that goal is and what that audience is going to be. And then at the end, when I'm editing it. So again, I just always need to have that near me when I'm creating something, because it really does change what kind of content you're working with. It sounds really like small, but I think that the more specific you are with that goal, and the more you know your audience and what they need, the better you'll be able to like formulate a script, formulate your questions, formulate all those kinds of things. You know, it really does matter. And I see that it varies, you know, from education. So I do a lot of educational videos, like I said, working with adjuncts, to something like when I work with an external client who wants more of like a marketing type video. So find your goal and then really kind of hone in on that and stick to that when you're making your videos. So I'm going to go through some things that you should know. So this is why you're here, right? You want like concrete things that you can take away today. If you saw Cecilia's presentation earlier in the week, I don't remember her last name, but Cecilia, she actually talked a lot about making your Zoom screen look really great. I thought her presentation was great. She did a better job at describing lighting than I'm going to, but so if you caught that, I thought she had some really good tips for framing and lighting when you're using like a webcam. So I'm going to try and not like maybe repeat her, but also mention some of those things. So the first thing, and this kind of goes back to your goal, because I have goal written here, is should you script, should you storyboard? So If you are writing like a commercial, you will need to script and storyboard, and that would be writing out not only exactly what everyone's going to say, but exactly frame by frame what it's going to look like. And this is so that there are no surprises at the end. You have a goal going in, you know exactly what you want, and that's what the outcome is going to be. I don't do a lot of that. I don't do a lot of commercial shot by shot things. I do a lot of getting interviews and then trying to make something of the interviews that I get. So, and a lot of times I try and produce it. Like I write the questions, I get the clips, I get the B-roll, I get everything. But sometimes, depending on who my client is, they'll send me all of their stuff. I actually did that a few years ago for a local med spa. I went in there for a consult, and the woman was like, "Oh, wait, you're a video editor? I have this video that somebody made. Like, we had an outside company come in, and I hated the way it came out." She was like, "But I have all the raw footage. Do you want to take a stab at it?" So that in that case, I had like no control over what I had. She just gave me everything that this other company like shot, and that was kind of like a weird situation. But the point is that sometimes you'll just get things and you have to make something of them. But a lot of times, if you can control it, this is where your script or your storyboard is going to come in, because you want to kind of know, again, what your goal is going to be and that's going to look like at the end. I think that it really depends on the length of the video you want and how much time you have, and also what the goal is. So I recently watched a small business do a time-lapse video of their process for their like creation, and it's like, that's so simple, that would be so easy. You don't really need a script or storyboard for something like that, you know. You would need a storyboard or a script if you're going to do one of those like TikTok or real like meme videos where they have like the music and then you put it to like your thing. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Then I think you would need a script. Or if you're going to do even a quick little how-to video on your Instagram, you still should have a script, and you should say it like a few times out loud before you try and record it, just so that you know exactly what you're going to say and you're not like fumbling or umming a lot, which I clearly do on camera. So I think I probably need a script more than the average person, but it's always good to go into something knowing exactly what you want. And I don't think that a script or storyboard is going to hurt. I also want to say that if you are doing interviews or packages, and maybe a script isn't the right way, you should still go in with questions. You never want to go into an interview cold. So if you're going to interview somebody for a purpose, like Brand Swan, you know, they do their interviews. Jen wasn't like coming up with questions on the spot. Okay, she already had all of that. If there was something interesting that somebody said that prompted a different question or a new question based on what they said, and you're like, "Oh, tell me more about that you're talking about," that's fine. But don't go into an interview and be like, "So what do you do?" What it's like, you should know. So think about things like that. Never go into an interview cold. Also, don't go into a shoot cold either. So if you are going to do a package and interview with people, write a list of shots you want to come out with. This is so important too, because you don't want to leave a shoot and wish you had a shot. So for example, I did a shoot with Wilmington University and Christiana Care, like a partnership between the university for some students to get internships. And we wrote out a shot list before we went so that we didn't leave, because we kind of had like the one day to shoot with Christiana Care. Like they were like, "Okay, we can fit you in on this day from this time to this time." So we had that limited window to get all the interviews we needed and to get all the shots we needed. So before we went, we were like, "Well, we need a wide of the building, we need a close-up of, you know, this, we need her working with her manager, we need a shot of this, we need a shot of that." So always go in making sure that you know exactly what you're going to get by the end, if you're doing any big packages like that. Again, I hope I'm not talking too much about like big productions as opposed to like if you're looking at this for like a quick YouTube video. But hopefully I'm giving enough tips that are general enough that you can kind of keep these things in mind. So always have a plan is really what this slide should be about, is have a plan. So let's talk about framing. Here, I did the typical phone frame. So everyone now takes their selfies and pictures this way, which if you hold this phone up to your computer, you're going to get a big box because it's vertical and we look at screens horizontally. This is not a bad thing. It's just something to keep in mind based on where you want your video to live. So if you're doing a TikTok, all TikToks are vertical, right? So it doesn't matter. But if you're making something for YouTube and you're using your phone to film it, you're probably going to want to turn it this way. That will just fill the frame better. It's not it feels less wrong now because so many people film with their phones that it almost doesn't really bother us anymore. But best practice recommends that you go horizontal. So here, these are like images I found off Canva. They're not mine, but I thought that they were really great examples of frames. So I think that having a good background here is really nice. Make sure that she's like well lit. This uses the rule of thirds. So it assumes that there are like 3 different sort of boxes within a frame, and the eye, it's more pleasing for the eye when people are in one of the 3. So like either over here, or in the middle. So then here, this was a Zoom interview that I did. We are both pleasantly in the middle. I dressed up my background a little bit and so did he. So I like to dress up my background. I don't like to use virtual backgrounds when I use Zoom or anything. I think they look cheesy, but having a really nice background with color, I always think looks really nice. And then here, I wanted to bring this one up. So this uses the rule of thirds where he's in this third and she's in that third. And this is, again, if you're shooting a bunch of interviews and you're going to chop them up next to each other, you probably want to shoot people in different thirds so that it's not jarring to the eye when you swap and switch. This way it looks like a different enough shot. So if I see her on this side and then I flip to another clip and he's on that side, my eye can kind of follow that. I'm just checking time because I feel like I'm either blabbing or I'm speaking way too fast. No, I'm good on time. So lighting, this is where I was talking about where Cecilia's presentation was amazing. She had different examples of different lighting systems and situations. Good lighting is very even. You need a lot of light for a camera because your camera won't be able to pick up as much as like your eyes do. Your eyes can adjust in the dark. Most cameras cannot. I have here a desk lamp. So what I actually use is I have like a little desk lamp that I put on when I'm in a Zoom meeting. It's not great for professional camera, but it does enough for my little Zoom so that I'm well lit compared to my background. You can use sit in front of a window if you're near a window. You can get a lighting kit. So this is actually a picture I took in my dad's house. His wife is a musician and she does like Zoom lives now. And so she's got like the fancy ring light and the whole setup. So you can do that if you would like. If you're doing a lot of videos, you probably want to invest in a ring light. Those are really good for amateurs who want good lighting. They're not complex. It's like one light that's got pretty even light and it'll make you look really nice. You can always sit in front of a window if the weather's nice. The thing you really want to avoid is just harsh shadows. Like that's always the worst. So you want good, even light, and you don't want harsh shadows. If there's like a lot of light over here, your shadows are going to be on this side of your face. If there's light over here, it's going to be on this side. Coming down, that's the worst. That will make you look horrible. Or coming up, it's not like a horror. We're not shooting a horror film. So good lighting is also very professional. Like you just always want to look as nice as possible and it'll just look more professional. The best kind of lighting for like a professional videographer is a nice cloudy day because you don't have those harsh rays from the sun and you don't really have to work with like a bounce board or anything complex. You can just get a lot of light outside, but it's very even lighting. So keep that in mind. Like think about that. Like maybe if your window is coming in really bright, get like a sheen curtain or something you can put over it. But the idea is just to have good, solid, even lighting. And again, all of these things really do come with that research. So when you start watching videos and seeing what other people are doing, you can start identifying like what you think looks good and what you think looks bad. Like if somebody has bad lighting, you're gonna be like, wow, I didn't like that video because I couldn't see them. So, you know, the more you watch and consume media with a critical eye, the more you're gonna realize like the things that you like and the things that you don't like and what you need to change or what you wanna do better. So equipment, I know this seems like we're getting to this part very late in the presentation, but I'm not gonna stand here and prescribe you any equipment today. I think that that is really not a great idea. I was talking to a woman who works at Wilmington University and she was talking about how she wanted to start doing some video on the side and she somebody told her to buy one thing, so she did, and then somebody else told her that was the wrong thing to buy, and then she regretted her purchase, and then she was given a piece of equipment that she didn't know how to use, and it was like too professional, and she was like, well, I don't want to learn how to use this and things like that. And it's like, that's why I'm not gonna, like, without us sitting and having a chat, I'm not gonna recommend any equipment, just because I feel like that always gets kind of, if you, it's either going to be too complex and the person's not going to know what to do with that, or it's going to not serve the purpose. Like, there's no real like catch-all equipment that works for everyone. So the things that I would recommend that you definitely need if you would like to get into video are a good microphone and even lighting. So again, that's like if you have a good window or, you know, a solid space, like good lamps, whatever, that's all you need to start, like to start. So, but having a microphone is really great. So I have this for my Zoom calls, for that interview that I did, even though it was a Zoom interview, like I still wanted to have good audio. So I think audio is really important, especially if you're like trying to communicate a message about your brand. That's going to make you come across as really professional. I do have this like microphone that's special for voiceover. So I've done some of that. Again, just because it takes your content up to that next level. But most people have phones, they have iPads. I got a video from a woman who used an iPad that I thought was like very clear, very easy to see, exactly what we needed. Really, it comes with your framing, your lighting, and your audio. So once you kind of get those things down, then maybe you can start working on getting better equipment. But really, when you're just starting out, sort of start out where you're at. Don't spend a ton of money up front because you don't really know where this is going to go. I hope that wasn't too underwhelming for all of you, but if you want to talk about equipment, we can chat about that later. And then finally, software and music. There's so many free softwares out there now. I Googled before I made this because I use Premiere because I'm a professional, but it's so expensive. So even that, I would not really recommend to like somebody just learning. I would recommend something else that is a little bit more easy to get on the market. So I Googled like free video editing software and so many came up, like so many, like the whole front page of Google was all free softwares. And so these are just some things that I saw that I thought would be good to recommend, but you can literally just Google. So like this one, Magisto, never heard of it, saw it on Google, put it in here, but there were like 5 more like that. The other things I put in here, I put in Premiere Rush. So if you do have the Adobe suite, like maybe you use Photoshop and do your own graphics or anything like that, Premiere Rush is in the Adobe suite and it is like a lower grade video editor from Premiere. So if you're a little bit intimidated by Premiere Rush might be for you. Animoto is a free video editor that I've seen. I almost used it once for like another project. The beauty of that one is that you can collaborate with people. So it's online. And if you have like an account, you can like share your video and like work with someone similar to Canva, where you can like add someone's email and they can view the file. So kind of like how Google Drive works, but like a video editor. So I put Animoto in there. Even though I haven't used it, I just know that like if you're on a team or want somebody to review or add to your video, that might be something to look into. Canva is not a great video editor, but they have really great stock footage. So if you're looking for generic stock video, you might want to look into Canva just to get yourself started. TikTok, already talked about that a bunch. I mean, that's like totally all built in there. That's if that's the direction you want your company to move. So if you're doing marketing videos or something like that, that you want to be quick, snappy, funny, TikTok is your place. Imovie, free with all Mac products. I hope that's still true. I don't have a Mac at this time, but I know that if you had a Mac, you could use iMovie for free all the time. Vimeo, I saw that Vimeo has a video editor as part of their package now. I didn't know that until I looked it up. I like Vimeo as like a video repository and hosting site. So I have full faith that their editor is probably pretty great. And then YouTube Creator Studio, that's where I get my music. So if I'm doing music for a client, I'm usually getting it from YouTube Creator Studio because it's like free on the web. They're probably going to put their video on YouTube, so I know that it's going to be like fine. But there are plenty of places to get music. My coworker sent me the other day, and I didn't know this until he sent it to me. The BBC has like a free sound library, so like sound effects. So look that up if that's something you're interested in. But I think YouTube Creator Studio is great for getting free music. So that's why I had that one on there. Yeah, so those are just, I ran through those really quickly. Feel free to ask questions if you have any about these, but basically the point here is that there are like 10 more where these came from. There are so many softwares out there now, which is fantastic. And each one sort of has its place. So like Canva, I would not recommend editing, but I would recommend getting stock footage. YouTube Creator Studio, I've never used it as an editor, but I think there is one there, but I think it's more like for live streaming. And so, yeah, so at risk of repeating myself, I think each one of these has value. And then I use regular Premiere. So there's Premiere Rush on there, but I just use Premiere. So if this is something you want to get into, go with Premiere, because that's what a lot of corporate video editors use. And then finally, it is totally fine if your content isn't perfect or exactly like your vision at first. I felt like this needed a big slide with big text because we always, I feel like, struggle to get off the ground. And if we always think that we're going to fail or that it's not going to look great, we'll never get off the ground. We'll always be too nervous or too afraid, or just say, well, it's not going to look exactly like my vision. Know that that's okay. Like, it comes with practice, and it's important to just start and just try. And even if it doesn't look like your vision now, a little bit later, it definitely will, because you will have learned, you will have grown, you will learn the do's and do nots, and it will be great. So thank you. Feel free to reach out if you want me to elaborate on anything I went over today. I know I went very quickly. And then feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I didn't put the link because it's like a string of numbers. So I thought it would just be easier for you to just type it in, but thank you.
Next Friday, we're going to be talking about boundaries with Julianne Cross and Jane Clark. So register for the event and you can join us at our Zoom. But other than that, thank you, Kelsey.